The day began with breakfast, the most important meal of the day for anybody set to be hiking 15 miles. We caught the catamaran across Lake Piho, leaving our phone reception and fashion sense behind us.
It's a video!
Nervous excitement forming in the pits of our stomachs, we were about to begin the W Trek. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is it called the W Trek? Well, let me go over the itinerary. Day 1, we hike from our campsite to Glacier Grey and then back again. Day 2, we hike all the way up to the French Valley and then back down again to our next campsite. Day 3, we hike across the weather-beaten land to campsite number 3. And on the final day, we hike to Torres, otherwise known as the Towers, and we see exactly why they call it the W Trek. Day 1 of the W Trek, and already my insufferably British urge to comment on the weather at any given opportunity was beginning to kick in. Torres del Paine National Park is known for its dramatic, unpredictable weather conditions, so it was no surprise when we were practically blown to Glacier Grey. After a day of feeling particularly dishevelled, we returned to camp. Vallée del Francès, otherwise known as the French Valley, is the most scenic section of the W Trek. 15 miles of amphitheatre-like imposing peaks and avalanches, all orchestrated by the sound of cracking ice and rustling trees.
Oh, it smells like fart in here. It is now the end of day 2 of the W Trek. I am so exhausted, but the sights that we've seen today have been incredible.
Yeah, like it's been 2 long days.
You're so serious. You were farting in here like a minute ago, now you've gone to this.
I'm all sophisticated now. Oh, come on.
Okay, so it's day 3 of the W Trek, and I've got to say I'm feeling particularly sprightly this morning. What about you, Abby?
Yeah, I'm feeling really chipper.
As usual.
With a spring in our step and sunshine burning through the clouds, day 3 was a prime example of pathetic fallacy. We beamed through grasslands, took selfies in lakes in premature celebration of the end of the W Trek. It was like the sun had completely disillusioned us. But the sun didn't last. We had been told by a source that the weather at the towers was so bad there really was no point in hiking all the way up there.
So the weather's taken a turn for the worse and it's currently pissing it down with rain. Are we going to turn back? I don't know.
I don't know. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
And no, we did not. As inviting as a steamy cappuccino at the hotel back at base camp sounded, we trekked on. Fingers frozen, teeth chattering and wind howling in our ears. The rain turned to snow and we finally arrived at the Mirador. Clouds blanketed the towers. It was far from picture perfect. But alas, we had snow and we had completed the W Trek. There's nothing more content and satisfying than finishing something spectacular. The days that followed after completing the W Trek were spent basking in pure serotonin. We made our way north up to Buenos Aires, stopping off at El Califate's Perito Mereno, one of the only growing glaciers left in the world. Completely entranced, we watched the ice tumble from its body into the turquoise waters. Our final days on the bus seemed to blur into one. An odd mismatch of camping on the side of highways, $3 litres of red wine, and coastal towns with Magellanic penguin weaving in and out of the foliage. It was time to leave Patagonia behind.